like champagne. I'm totally vibing. It's true what they say. It's all about timing.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Unscripted. My name is Cecilia. If you're new on this channel, I post fragrance related content as well as vlogs. Now, if you like that style of content but you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing and joining the family. And to those who are already subscribed, thank you so much for the continued support. I have a little vial that I intend to review for you here, which is a mini of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Scandal Absolu. The reason why I pulled this one to bring you a quick review of is because this is a 2024 composition, and I would like to believe that a lot of people would like to know my thoughts, or just to know what this fragrance vibes like, because of course it's one of the new releases. I'm going to try and give you a close-up of how this little vial looks like, because it is just but a sample that was thrown in with my purchase. I have tried it, so this is not first impressions. This is going to be like second impressions, but it's one of those DNAs that just by smelling it there, you can almost dig some familiarity, you know. Those listed on Fragrantica for this one are just three, which is the tuberose, the fig, as well as the sandalwood. Now, offset, you are going to get a creamy wrap-up of a fragrance, a milky wrap-up of a fragrance, lactonic wrap-up of a fragrance. It does give me some little bit of that original Scandal, but it takes a gourmand direction, especially lactonic, that gourmand going lactonic. I also do feel that there are some notes that are in here that possibly were not listed, because I do extract something that feels like vanilla, a caramel in here, and a honey and coconut nuance, especially a coconut nuance. The coconut starts to come very much so, you know, like starts to give rise, like starts to rise and disappear, rise and disappear. After an hour of you wearing this fragrance, you will get wafts of something that feels very coconutty, as though you're wearing a fragrance with that nuance, but they did not list the note of coconut separately. This, to my nose, is gourmand toned, and it's going to be a DNA that, if you have played around with some of the bold tuberose note fragrances, is going to be very familiar to your nose. There was a phase where I was so obsessed with that tuberose, the way it's done in Mimo Mafa. I get that in here as well. The tuberose, the way you will get it in Rouge Malachite, I kind of get it in here. So it's going to be a DNA that is very familiar, especially if you have been exposed to such fragrances. However, if you do not have any, or have not interacted with the Mimo Mafa or the Rouge Malachite of recent, is going to be something in here that reminds you of a little bit of what you get in Alien Goddess, the Intense, right? That's the vibe. So the DNA in itself is not coming across as absolutely something new, something that we've never smelled before, right? But for the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier and the line Scandal, I think maybe it was needed. It also gives me a wrap-up of something that I would want to wear in cooler weather, although I can see some people, you know, being able to pull off this fragrance in hot weather. I'm going off a sample here, right? So what I am saying here is not going to be set in stone, because I am just working with the little bit that I have, but just based off those 2-3 sprays and the ones that I sprayed before, it kind of gives me something that feels a little bit heady there. You know, the tuberose is quite intense in this, so it is a floral that is quite busy there, you know, very busy, like slapping your face, you know, tuberose. The fig is in the mix, but it's not enough to make this one fruity, if you will. It just adds like a gourmand touch to this fragrance, but coming off or bringing to light the milkiness or the lactonicness of what you get in the fig. With the fig, there's two things to it. It can come across as very green, but if super ripened, the fig in itself can interpret as milky to an extent. You know, I don't know how I can explain it, but for those who have or who like fig, you will know what I'm talking about. It's not a green fig that you're going to get here. It just goes with the theme of everything else. You know, that sandalwood coming in there, also interpreting as creamy, and then there is that tuberose interpreting as bold and a bold, very bold white floral there, quite intense in your face, tuberose. And then there is the fig, but the fig not adding a fruity tone. So this picture that you get there is not to suggest that this is going to take a fruity direction. It's more to do with that creamy. For some, it's going to be powdery. For some, it's going to be very, very floral. That is what I can say about this, but it's not coming across to me as a, oh my God, wow, I've never smelled this DNA. And by that, I'm not saying it's not a good DNA. I am saying personally, I'm going to start and end, with this particular vial. I don't think I need to pull full size, if say money was permitting, right? I don't think I would go buy this one full size, simply because it just reminds me of some of the fragrances that I already have in my collection, namely that Mimo Mafa, that Rouge Malachite. For some, it's going to be that YSL's Bouquet Extreme, Bouquet something. Okay, so if you have put your nose on such DNAs, then of course this is not going to come across as an, oh my God, we've never smelled this one before. Nice one for the house with Jean Paul Gaultier. Lasting power for this. I always am skeptical, to give people lasting power based on just little vials like this, but I can tell you that it is pretty pushy there for the little sprays that I have put there. So imagine if I had the whole bottle to myself. I think it is a fragrance that's probably going to have presence for the entire wear, which is say 8 hours. I think it would be a fragrance that's quite active there. It might even come across as a little bit pushy in the beginning, a little bit screechy for some in the beginning, which is the first hour or so, but it does tone down to become an overall wrap up of a milky, gourmandish, lactonic, creamy, coconutty, white, floral, that sort of thing. And that is what you're going to smell the entire time of the wear. The very first time you spray it, or the very first hour or so you spray it, people within like maybe a 5-meter radius of yourself will be able to smell you, and you will probably get compliments, after which it just leaves that trail, like a floral wrap up. It also has a feminine tone around it, although of course if say a male likes this type of DNA, they could probably pull it off, but it has that lactonic floral about it. Okay, it does have that lactonic floral about it, and of course a little bit of what I feel is a honey nuance. And to second my guess about that honey, if you just look at that bottle there, it kind of gives me or reminds me of honey. So I do get like a honey nuance, just playing around there in the background in this fragrance. So generally it is not a bad DNA, quite hypnotizing there. A DNA that's going to be favored by of course anybody who likes those floral, milky DNAs with a gourmand touch. So that is what I can say, guys, about the very latest Jean Paul Gaultier Scandal Absolu. If you like your fragrances on the creamy side, this is definitely going to do it for you. That's the first thing that you are going to get. It's just definitely going to give you that milky nuance. Some of you are even going to get wafts of like an almondy, nutty nuance in this, because it is, really milky in that aspect. Just to close this, the sandalwood does at some point try to give off a little bit of a woodiness, but it's not enough to call this one a woody fragrance. I'd still stick to that creamy floral or milky floral, but with a little bit of a gourmand touch. C Chronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section, guys, where we discuss more about fragrances. Is Scandal Absolu, did they say Parfum? Yeah, they say Parfum Concentrate. Is Scandal Absolu Parfum Concentrate a fragrance that you would love to add to your collection? Of course, if you are a person that collects the Scandal fragrances, the Jean Paul Gaultier Scandal line, this is probably a must-have, because of that touch that I was talking about. It does stray a little bit from the traditional ones, of course, having wafts of that original Scandal, but then taking a milky lactonic direction. Remember to turn on post notifications, guys. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one, and be blessed, be safe. I love you as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.